against Nigerians and, of course, other foreigners in South Africa, and huge costs in human and material terms to Nigerians living in South Africa. Those attacks have escalated in recent times with deadly consequences. You are also aware of the reprisal attacks that have targeted South African interests and businesses in Nigeria. The efforts of the federal government to decisively deal with the attacks have been well communicated to all Nigerians. For the purpose of this press conference, however, let me quickly remind us that President Muhammadu Buhari has dispatched a special envoy to convey to his South African counterpart, Cyril Ramaphosa, his concerns and also interact with him on the situation. Also, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyeama, acting on the instruction of Mr. President, has summoned the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria to get a brief on the situation and express Nigeria's displeasure over the treatment of our citizens and secure assurances of the safety of their lives and property. Nigeria, you are aware, is also recalling its High Commissioner to South Africa, in addition to boycotting the World Economic Forum on Africa being hosted by South Africa. And plans are on to evacuate Nigerians who are willing to return home from South Africa. Of course, a number of other measures are also being considered by the government to keep Nigerians in South Africa safe. But the purpose of this press conference is to reiterate the appeal to Nigerians who are justifiably angered by the attacks on their compatriots in South Africa not to resort to self-help by carrying out reprisal attacks against South African businesses and interests in Nigeria. To alert Nigerians also to the fact that some unscrupulous people are engaging in disinformation to inflame passion by using fake news, wrong videos of non-related attacks, etc., to very strongly warn the naysayers and hoodlums who might want to capitalize on the widespread disenchantment and anger of Nigerians over the attacks in South Africa to foment mayhem, and to appeal to Nigerians, especially opinion leaders, not to allow raw emotions to guide their responses to these attacks. I will take the issues one by one, starting with the attack on South African businesses in Nigeria. Reports of these attacks, which have dominated the social and traditional media in the past 2 days, are quite disturbing and depressing. Obviously, hoodlums have hijacked some of the peaceful protests by some Nigerians to loot shops at ShopRite and other malls in some locations across the country. A Nigerian lady whose shop was looted at the Novare Mall in Lagos said she'd lost millions of dollars, of naira, to the hoodlums who looted her shop. The offices of the MTN nationwide have either been attacked or threatened. Other South African firms have either shut their doors or are open under heavy security. As we said in our intervention on Tuesday, Nigerians own and run the shops in the various ShopRite malls across the country. Nigerians work there also. MTN is listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and the investors in this company are largely Nigerians. The workers, of course, are mostly Nigerians. Same applies to other South African businesses and interests in the country. By attacking them, we are hurting our own people. And that is the blunt truth. Some hoodlums have also targeted foreigners under the guise of protesting against the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. This is saddening. If we are complaining that South Africans are attacking Nigerians in South Africa, how then can we tolerate Nigerians attacking Nigerians and foreigners right here in Nigeria? What purpose do such attacks serve, other than for Nigerians to lose their investments and jobs? Must we cut our nose to spite our face? It is in this light that I want to assure all Nigerians, and indeed foreigners living in Nigeria, that the federal government has put in place adequate security measures to protect the lives and property of all. We want to appeal to our opinion leaders and celebrities to be guarded in their utterances and comments on xenophobic attacks and the reactions from Nigerians. Words have meanings, and wrong words are like poison darts. In the words of the Buddha, better than 1,000 hollowed words is a word that brings peace. In conclusion, gentlemen, we want to reiterate the following. 1. The federal government will leave no stone unturned to protect Nigerian citizens anywhere around the world, including South Africa, where they've been subjected to repeated xenophobic attacks with terrible consequences that include loss of lives and property. 2. President Muhammadu Buhari has dispatched a special envoy to meet with South African counterpart Cyril Ramaphosa, while Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyeama has summoned the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria. Of course, you are aware that Nigeria is recalling its High Commissioner to South Africa, in addition to boycotting the World Economic Forum on Africa taking place in Cape Town, South Africa. The Nigerian government is also ready to evacuate Nigerians willing to return home from South Africa, in addition to other measures being considered to decisively tackle this cankerworm of xenophobic attacks against Nigerians in South Africa. We appeal to Nigerians who are angered by the xenophobic attacks on their compatriots in South Africa not to engage in reprisal attacks, because such attacks hurt our own people more than it hurts the South Africans. We also want Nigerians to know that wrong videos and disinformation are being circulated on social media to inflame passion and distort the plight of Nigerians in South Africa.